So hello guys, and welcome back with RB. Yet another quick test ride that we are doing. This one is on a Hunter 50 for a customer, a 50cc, 30 mile an hour. So we are going to stick to the urban routes today. Won't be flying down the dual carriageway on this one, playing with the big boys. But we are ride testing this, and obviously the little Hunters, 50cc, being a geared bike, they do take a while to get up to speed, but once that engine loosens off, the engine is very tight when we first get these in, but once they've loosened up, they've got about a good 10-15 miles on them, they do get a little bit faster getting up to speed, but obviously very slow getting up to speed from the start. But as always, I never have an issue with it. And 4-speed box on this one, and you can probably tell from the amount of water on the camera lens that it is very wet out today. But as we say, we ride in all weathers, and what better to show off these little tyres. Obviously these Lexmotos have the nylon tyres on, but I never have an issue with these tyres. The only time that you're going to get an issue, obviously, as I keep banging on all my videos, is being an absolute idiot, riding as wet weather as if it was a dry day. So take your time, nice and steady, and they sit around about 30 mile an hour. Obviously I've got a hell of a wind today. We have had an amber alert for weather, and I'm out riding, so I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for me, but as I say, we ride test in all conditions. So I'm sticking to the urban route today, just taking her out, having a little run around. Now the bar position on this, pretty good, nice and up high, elbows are nice and level with my arms. Nice display on the clocks, and I do like that nice gear indicator down there. Third gear, 4-speed box, in 4th gear, and you do have to wait for the power to wind up on these. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but as an A to B motorcycle, once it's run in, they do fly along. You do get a pretty darn good speed out of it. Now obviously I took it out the other day in absolutely driving rain, and when we actually got to do the video on it, we couldn't see a thing. It was just a complete black dark blur with a load of rain all over the camera. So we'll see how we get on today. Gear changes on this are lovely and smooth, and it does soak up the potholes. Obviously I'm not going to be putting it through big dips because it is a customer bike. Try and avoid those manhole covers in the wet, and try and avoid those big potholes. But even on a manhole cover like this, tyres sit there, and it is an incredibly wet day out there. And a quick nod from the other riders. So whether it's 50cc, 125, they all ride and darn well. And you can see from speedo, nice steady 30 mile an hour. Now it was with a headwind obviously coming through town, and I was down to about 25. But very easy to see all those displays down there, your indicators, your gear light, your main beam and your neutral. Just winding it up with that headwind on again, and we're back to 30 mile an hour. So once these are loosened up, you can get about 35-36 out of them. Some people have had a lot more out of them. This is my favourite corner for checking these tyres, because they've got 4 manholes here and a nice dip there, but as you can see, tyres sit there, not an issue. Obviously as a more experienced rider, I know exactly how far to push a tyre, but just to let you know, obviously if you are a new rider, a little bit easier in the wet weather. Take your time, slow down for those corners, and stay off of the brakes. I've not touched the brake once now. I'm tending to use my clutch braking, my gearbox braking, and engine braking is a very good thing. And obviously keeping an eye on the mirrors, just making sure that the cars are aware that I am there. And I've obviously got the high vis on today, and just shifting down to come back around the roundabout. Nice bit of standing water, and she corners ideally. So if you are looking at one of these Hunters, I know they are very scarce at the moment. Obviously Lexmoto are awaiting shipments of their Euro 5 batch now, so we shall find out what Lexmoto have in offer on the 50cc market. But I always say, I do love the new electric Cypher, and the Cypher is a very, very good bike. Go and have a look at the video that we did of that. We did the first ride test on that one, and absolutely astounding. There is obviously a couple of ways of de-restricting these as well. Lexmoto do the kit now for the carburetor de-restriction kit. So if you wanted to get a little bit more speed out your bike, bang on to CMPO, get yourself a de-restriction kit, and that will get you a little bit more speed. But there we go, look at that, 32 mile an hour. I'm impressed. And everyone's going to be, oh, you got 32 out of it. It's a 30 mile an hour motorcycle. It's not a Hypersport Super Tourer. It is a 50cc, get you from A to B, get you to college, starter motorcycle. And as a starter bike, it's not a bad bike. And I can feel now that engine is actually starting to loosen up. I'm getting a little bit more rev response from it. And as I say, these do loosen up once you've got a few miles on. So I've got about 8 miles on the bike at the moment. We look to put about 15-20 on every bike that we road test. Obviously 125's road test at 40 mile an hour. 50cc's we tend to absolutely test the hilt out of them and just make sure that everything is a-okay. Hence why I tend to stick to the urban routes on a 50. And even on a day like today, I can smell that engine paint just warming up, so the newness just burning off of it. And no worries about breaking the rules going through speed cameras. Not a problem. Now obviously I'm just short of 13 stone on this, but most youngsters are going to be a little bit lighter than me. But we have had a customer that's bought one of these, and he's 16 stone plus. So what do you get out of it? I still get 25 mile an hour on it. How many miles a day do you do? Oh, 2 to work, 2 to home. But I work in inner London, and I work in the congestion zone, so I am exempt. I haven't got to take my car to work. He's quite happy sitting at 25 mile an hour in London traffic, just filtering and getting through. So big gust of wind and a headwind there. That's just knocked me back to about 25, but you would expect it on this. Once they loosen up, as I say, to get a little bit faster. But a little bit more around town, just to show this Hunter off. And I do like the seating on this. Nice mid pegs on this one, so I've got a nice foot position on this. Seating's lovely and comfortable. I could ride for a good sort of 30-40 miles on this. And then the only thing, because it's such a light bike with the wind on it, I do get knocked about a bit, but it holds its line. If you're used to getting a draft of wind and just like, okay. And the best thing is I can get around all these road bumps as well. So ideal for just pottering down the centre. The other cars have to go slow to get over the speed bumps. Motorcycle, not a problem. Round the speed bump we go. So if you are in the market for a Hunter, obviously check out the Lexmoto pages. And that's the first time I've used the brake in ages. And just come in on that front brake, and it does pull up nice and effectively. Obviously in wet weather you don't want to be using too much front brake. These are not combined braking, so you've got your disc to the front, you've got a drum brake to the rear, but the front brake pulls up nice and effective as long as you're in a straight line. You don't grab too much throttle, and as I always say, progressive braking. Slowly to start, easy on, easy on, easy on. Don't just go grabbing handfuls of front brake. That is when you're going to wash that front end out. But I tend to use quite a lot of engine braking, so just shifting down the gearbox, use the engine braking. What a lovely bike. I'll say, not the fastest one in the world, but it is a good A to B machine. And if you happen to be 16, going backwards and forwards to school, backwards and forwards to work, backwards and forwards to college, no problem. Nice big bump. Let's just look at that. Suspension just soaks up that bump. And I'm just going to do it again over this one. Now these are quite hard speed bumps. And the seat lift himself out the seat, but that suspension just soaks up that bump, which is what you want Nice soft, decent, medium suspension. You don't want it too hard, you don't want it too soft and spongy that you're getting any rebound on it. And time now to head back to the garage. So 10 miles on the bike, so just coming up for about 10 miles on the bike. All happy with this, and then obviously notify the customer. Ride test was all good. Videos going up on YouTube. Now if you happen to subscribe to my YouTube and you follow the RevBomb channel, you'll be happy to know we hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, all you people out there that have clicked like and subscribed to the channel. Wouldn't be able to do it without all you guys. And if you happen to be about on a Friday evening, and we do it normally every couple of weeks, Friday evenings up on YouTube, The Military Biker. You can find us all there. There's about 14 or 15 big motovloggers that all meet up on a Friday night on The Military Biker, chat bikes, and obviously I'm about the only one in there that rides the Lexmoto bikes, and obviously I do ride a couple of big ones myself. But feel free to pop in, ask any questions. That is what all those guys are there for. Technical help, advice, tips. What's the best bike to buy? What's the worst bike to buy? And they are there for loads of advice. But pop in, give the guys a shout. As always, if you enjoyed the video and watching me get it absolutely soaking wet, we're just going to clean the camera off. Quick wipe of the camera just in case we've got any rain dots on there. But if you enjoyed what you like, or you liked what you watched, hit that like and subscribe button. Let's see if we can get to 1,500 in a couple of months' time. It's nice to see that we're getting a lot of support now on the YouTube. Hit the notifications bell. That will give you notifications of when the next video is up, and I'm out in some big bikes in about an hour's time. We're taking out a couple of big Kawasaki's, so watch out for those two coming through on the feed. Get to see me ride a couple of big bikes. As always, the links to all my media, revbomb.co.uk. Got a link there to my Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and there's also a link there to Eclipse Motorcycles, their Facebook page and the website. If you are into a Lexmoto bike, give the guys at Eclipse a call, 01908 643 603. And until the next ride, guys, from a very wet RB, for myself, be well, ride safe, and it's a big goodbye from me.